On Tuesday, May 6, 2025, the Lagos chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors (NIQS) commenced a 3-day intensive engineering workshop aimed at opening new frontiers for members in Nigeria's thriving oil and gas sector. Held at the Center for Management Studies, Shangisha, Lagos. This 33rd edition of the workshop, which carries 15 continuing professional development points, is designed to strengthen members' technical capacity and enhance their relevance in the built environment. With the theme Bridging Competence Gaps in Engineering Construction, Strategies for Cost and Risk Optimization in the Oil and Gas Sector, NIQS Lagos brought together seasoned professionals to guide participants through industry-specific knowledge and emerging opportunities.
One of our resource personnel.
Among the dignitaries at the opening ceremony was the Vice President of NIQS, QSBA Mafimidiwo, who represented the National President, QS Nzekwe Kene Christopher. Also present were former leaders of the Lagos chapter.
NIQS Lagos.
In his welcome address, the Lagos chapter chairman, QS Riliwan Balogun, highlighted the significance of the workshop, stating that it was designed to strategically expose members to the vast and lucrative opportunities within the oil and gas sector.
As quantity surveyors, we play a vital role in ensuring that projects are delivered on time, within budget, and to the required quality standards. The oil and gas sector is a significant contributor to our nation's economy, and optimizing cost and risk management is crucial for the success of projects in this sector. This workshop provides a platform for us to share knowledge, experiences, and best practices in cost and risk management. Over the next 3 days, we will engage in discussions, presentations, and case studies that will enhance our skills and competencies in this area.
In his goodwill message, the Vice President commended the Lagos chapter for consistently advancing the profession. He described the theme as timely and encouraged participants to leverage the training in advancing national development.
We are the ones that have been trained to be able to take off, to get the actual quantities, get actual estimating of the costs. Like the man was saying, we are the one that they do a lot of assumptions, and then they just multiply figures and a lot of wastages, and that is what encourages corruption. So on this note, once again, I want to really thank our Senate for keeping the flag flying, and the President really will still appreciate Lagos as the flagship chapter, because we are the one, leading and others are following.
Other dignitaries, including Barrister Olushola, QS Adesoya, and QS Ayuba Akere, also delivered goodwill messages, applauding the initiative and urging attendees to maximize the knowledge being shared. A group photo session followed, bringing together dignitaries, organizers, and participants to commemorate the opening of the workshop.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the training featured 4 technical sessions. Engineer Adebayo Awoyele led the first, titled Overview of the Oil and Gas Industry, where he unpacked the dynamics and value chains of the sector.
People will tell you that, Nigeria, we have oil, why are we paying for this, why are we paying for that? The oil we have, we can't use it the way it is, right? And by the Land Use Act of 1978, if I'm correct, all land in the Federal Republic of Nigeria belong to the federal government. And so anybody that is going to do anything you will need a licensing from the federal government of Nigeria to do something under the ground of Nigeria. Your house is your house until oil is discovered under it. The moment we find oil under your house, they will move you from that place. So the acreage, the land area where you have your petroleum prospecting license is being given, it's awarded by the federal government through competitive bidding. People bid for this licensing as managed by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Petroleum Agency, that's NUPRC. So people that win these bids are given the acreage, and then when you win the acreage, these are still part of the upstream. You are not just going to go there and start drilling. Nobody just go here, you are going to drill. To drill an oil well in Nigeria today, I think we did we were doing an analysis last week in the office, and then I realized that to drill an oil well in the Niger Delta costs an average of $21 million, just one oil well.
The second session, Contract and Risk Management in Oil and Gas, was anchored by QS Akinola Kehinde, who explored legal, contractual, and risk control frameworks.
They introduced what we call a lifting log. It's an heavy metal, structural metal that will be used, the sling will be attached to it, to now attach to that equipment to lift it. Meanwhile, company A did not, provide for that lifting log. Theirs, they use sling only. So you see interface issue. Now, of course, you have thousands of documents. I believe during the process of reviewing the contract, nobody cared to read that. One of it is about $750,000. And they need 3. That's about $2.25 million. It is not in contractor A's scope of work. From his own thinking, it's not there. Now, contractor B says, "Okay, you have to provide this." It's there, look at it. It's blue. Now, contractor A had to go back to scope of work and said to company, "Sir, look at our scope of work. In our pricing, we only price for the lifting slings." I said, "I don't care. It's in the document." Then we went back and said, "But by order of precedence of contracts, we said Exhibit A should naturally override Exhibit E." They said, "Go back and read the contract again." And in the contract, it was written there that yes, Exhibit A can override Exhibit E, but the contract, every part of the contract should be what? Should be mutually exclusive. They should interrelate. And that was it.
Engineer Oluwatobi Aluko facilitated the third session on mechanical and electrical installation in oil and gas, discussing installation standards, technical design, and safety protocols.
We had set up the building in that LNG, I think K9 building. K9 building is building for dock. In LNG, you need to do your design as effective as possible, as if it's human being that will stay there. Definitely we consider them, the dogs, as their security. So the K9 building was sitting around a blast area. So they need to do a blast evaluation, the risk assessment, that okay, what if this cylinder, what if it explodes? What is the distance covered? What's the radius around that we can set up a building that we can say, okay, this building is safe from explosion. So we now have to move the building, this K9 building, away. So we need to ensure that the surrounding where explosion may happen is not affecting lives and property. So there is need to ensure that the materials you are even using for some operations, probably for your oil exploration, your transporting gas, you need to ensure that the temperature is not as much, and you need to ensure that even if the temperature is much, you have a thing that is reducing the temperature, the internal temperature, and even the material you are using should not be susceptible to explosion.
The day concluded with a session on civil work and structural engineering works in oil and gas, led by engineer Omoni Eni Ibukun.
If you are required to use a software for your design and you cannot find someone who can use that software, that is a gap. Because when you use the software, you should also be able to interpret the results of what you are getting from the software. Then you should be able to apply that information in your drawings. At the end of the day, your calculation, nobody will know anything about it. What people will know is what comes on your drawings. So accurate interpretation of your design results or your drawings is very, very key. So you need someone who has a complete knowledge of the software, who understands how the software works, who can interpret the results, who can also implement that results on the drawings, and the drawings during execution.
To wrap up the first day, the organizers presented plaques of honor to the facilitators in appreciation of their impactful sessions.
I hereby present this award to you for your contribution as a resource person towards the success of this 3-day workshop. Thank you.
I was able to gain a little things about civil engineering aspect of the oil and gas installation. And I learned that it is a technical process that requires training, experience, and to use top-notch software in designing so that all the risk can be adequately captured. There is zero tolerance for failure. So you have to use top-notch, well-experienced engineers, good equipment, and all necessary facilities must be in place so that there will be zero tolerance for failure.
The training is very interesting, and it's in fact, I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm here because it's a very good part to enlighten the QS, especially the oil and gas sector, which had been an area that most of us don't even consider it, that we share a part there. We see them mostly as engineering sector. But it's good to hear from those who are active there. And what interests me most is that we have a colleague there who is speaking as an in-house person. I'm glad to be part of this.
In a side interview, members of the organizing team, including the General Secretary, PRO, and AGIA, reflected on the success of the opening day and teased what to expect from the remaining 2 days.
The theme of the program, talks about oil and gas, which is very, very key. That industry is an industry that is very, very capital intensive. And then it is important that the service of the QS is engaged for cost management practices, so that value for money is achieved.
A lot of people will be like, what's oil and gas all about? When we are moving from oil, we are moving to gas. It's still combined together. And when we put it in the scale of sustainability, it is what you have that you can sustain. And in sustaining what you have, you bring value up. So teaching our members about oil and gas is for us to bring out the value that is necessary for competence with oil and gas.
Just as the organizers promised, the second day of the workshop saw participants embarked on a field trip to Lagos Free Zone, where they had a first-hand exposure of what was taught on day one. The third and final day created a unique platform for participants to reflect on the workshop. They also used the opportunity to network among one another as a way of expanding their sphere of influence on the field. The impactful and highly incisive experience at the NIQS Lagos 3-day workshop has set the stage for participants to take bold steps into the oil and gas sector, well informed, well prepared, and ready to make a difference.